We're live. Welcome to another Arse Brothers preview. We'll get started on this one. This is going to be a preview of the Liverpool game. Joining me tonight, I have got Lee Judges. You all right, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Mike. How are you? Okay?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight, mate. It's a nice cold Monday evening. Sunday evening, should I say, not Monday. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Freezing. About to put me out on today.
I've had to, mate. It's that cold.
Not good.
And
Not good.
I've also been joined by fellow Arse brother Manny. How we doing, mate? It's all right. He's muted himself.
He's muted himself.
Hungover and having internet issues, bro.
Mate, we've all had them in the.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, mate. So you're hungover. I am.
Oh, sweet.
We're meant to be joined by
Sky
Jerome.
Broadband is terrible.
Oh, yeah, it is, mate. Tell me about it. I'm with them. But we're also meant to be joined by Jerome. He is going to try and get on. He is having cam issues, so if he gets on, he gets on. If he doesn't, he doesn't. We'll see what happens towards the show. Right, let's get into it. Liverpool game coming up. Are we looking forward to it, Lee?
Yeah, I am. To be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I'd look forward to it some more if Partey and Awell were playing in the team. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. I think that for the last few years I've been going up there, I thought it's always been about, damage limitation. Hopefully we keep the score down. But I genuinely feel that we're going to be in the game tomorrow. Whether we'll win it or not, that's a different thing. But I fancy just giving it a good go tomorrow, and after what I've seen over the weekend with the games and performances of certain teams, yeah, I think that we've, if and I say it's a big if Arsenal back the manager in this next week or so, Arsenal could have a real good season and go and be up there challenging the likes of Liverpool, because I think after what I've seen today, Liverpool are a cut above everybody, and the rest are all fighting for it. And I've got a feeling that Manchester United are going to do something this week, and probably Manchester City after today. But why not?
Drumming they got.
Well, you know what I mean? Couldn't defend for Toffee, a bit like we've been over the last sort of few years. They're sort of same performances that Arsenal used to have was what I see today. Dominating and then getting caught on the counter attack. So, but yeah, I'll be interested to see how it goes tomorrow. I think that it'd be interesting, the team selection. We do a predictions thing. I'm not predicting nothing until I've seen the team to see what he's going to go with. So I would like to think that he'd go a little bit defensive like he did in the Community Shield and try and frustrate him and hit him on the break like we did in that game. And if we can do that, we're in for a chance. We've got to defend well. But for the first time in a long, long time, yeah, Mike, I'm going up there. Well, not going up there. The team's going up there.
Yeah, we're still not allowed there, mate. Unfortunately.
No. So for the first time in a little while, I think that we're giving them a game. They're the champions. They're champions for a reason. They're the best team in the country, and I think that it's not going to be easy. But you never know. The one good thing that Arsenal have got is if they can defend well, we have got tools in our armoury that can hurt other teams, and we've got to be on our game. Aubameyang was nicely rested in the week. Lacazette. So we've got the option is with does he play Willian or Pepe? I think it'd go with Willian. So we've got players that are experienced, talented up that top half of the field that can get things just like what Leicester done today. Defended well and hit them on the break. That's exactly what we've got to do tomorrow.
And our hat-trick of penalties will do us really well.
Whoa. I don't know if my heart be able to take that.
It'd be nice, mate. A hat-trick of penalties against Liverpool. That would be nice. I was just about to go to Manny, but he has just sent me a private message. He's having a bit of internet trouble, so he will be back. But it'll bring me on to the formation, which we'll do now. What I'll do is I'll get the Liverpool formation, what I think is going to come, what I think is going to be today after some news today.
Yeah.
Thiago and Alisson are out. I didn't update it when I found out about Alisson, so forget this bottom bit here. Forget the bottom bit of Alisson here. I've got a new toy to play with. I found a nice little site. So it's quite nice. It's nice to have. I've seen other preview pods do this, so I'm copying, and I don't really care. You can trademark it all you want. I'm not interested. But yeah, it's nice. Well, this is what I feel that I reckon would be against us at Liverpool tomorrow night. I understand Joe Gomez is back after injury, so I believe he'll be there. And obviously, Fabinho will probably be moving up after he was playing in defence against Chelsea. So I feel like Gomez will probably be back with Fabinho moving back into that central defensive mid role, especially with Thiago being, hopefully, for Arsenal, sidelined. And I know Jordan Henderson's not making the trip as well. So that would be nice. I don't know how you'd see. Would you see anything different there, Lee?
Yeah, well, I don't believe all these things that you hear on that. I think Alisson will play tomorrow. I'll be most surprised if he's not. And I think Thiago will play as well. And I think that if Thiago plays in there, you know, I'm not overly worried about him tomorrow. I don't think he'll have the possession account that he had on the last game. And also, he's not probably, I don't think, quite up to scratch yet. So I think, you know, if they would to chuck him in, then that would be a little bit of a
definitely
gamble.
A ball player, though. You know,
definitely a ball player without a shadow of a doubt. But I think even if he is fit, I think that's the three that they go with tomorrow. Anyway, I do.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to drop out of that one, I believe it would be probably Wijnaldum, who probably would drop if Thiago is back. Manny, thanks for joining us again, mate. I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you guys, man. I had to restart my internet. It was terrible.
Right. Well, it's good to hear you back, mate. Good to hear you back. Just to kickstart you back into it, mate, I've brought out a formation that I believe Liverpool will probably play tomorrow. Alisson might not be playing. I didn't have time to update that when I found out about him. So it's a case of now, do we see Adrian in there, or Adrian, should I say? You know, I mean, I'm getting lost my train of thought then for a minute. I apologise. I'm getting messages from Jerome, see if he can get on or not. It doesn't look like it's happening, so I apologise for that. So to bring Manny back into it, what I'm saying is, do you see anything different from this formation from Liverpool tomorrow?
No, I think you know what you're going to get with Liverpool. I know we're not going to have a lot of the ball. You know, we're going to be under pressure for a lot of it, you know, but as long as we stay in our shape, it's up to Liverpool to break us down. They're going to play a high line, you know, as they did, you know, against Leeds. And if they do that, the long ball over the top to Aubameyang and to even Willian, you know, will be on every single time because, you know, they're going to try to squeeze us. You know, we're going to try to play out from the back, you know, and we can catch them, you know, on the counter-attack. It's not going to be any different to the Liverpool that we've seen for the last couple of years.
No, and they do somewhat similar to us as well with having their, you know, their wing backs. They tend to push forward in Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. They do push forward just as much as ours. But I think with the formation that we normally do with a five at the back rather than the three, rather than the four, you've also got that extra cover. So yeah, you know, counter attacking is, I think, it's going to be crucial against Liverpool. We saw that last time we played them, and it worked out well for us. So. Yeah. If no one can see anything different to that, I'll move on to what I believe the Arsenal formation will probably be. And I can't see much different from that myself. Lee, you know, Tierney's due back. I don't know if Gabriel's going to be, for me personally, I don't know if Gabriel's going to be up to Liverpool standard in the Premier League yet. So that's why I've put David Luiz in. Do you see anything different to that sort of lineup?
100%. Yeah, I'm going to go with David Luiz coming back in, and it'll be. I think Gabriel will play. I think that he'll play on the left hand side, and I think Holding will play on the right. I do think that that will be the three. Where we get Tierney in is that's going to be the one there. I don't think that he'd be risked. I think that he'd be on the bench just in case things go wrong there. And I think you're dead right with Maitland-Niles and Bellerin. As it happens, that's not far off of the team that played in the Community Shield. I would make one change there. As much as I do like Danny Ceballos, I think this is the game for El Neni to come in and to play the two holding midfield players to shield that, like they did in the Community Shield. So that's what I would see there. I think the front three is the three that I would go with if I was manager.
Yeah, I can't see much difference to that. I know Pepe played against Leicester in the Cup, but he didn't really provide anything much better in the sense of what Willian could provide against.
I just think that what we look to do is just keep it tight, you know, shore it up, And then we've got, like I thought Saka was brilliant in our last game, and also against Leicester he was very, very good as well. So I think that it suits us more when he's in an attacking sort of thing. But I think for this game here, I think that the wing backs are full backs, so defend properly and try and get those three players. Them three there, as you say, on a high line, just keep everybody else behind the ball doing their job, and let those three just try and run off their back two. Which I think that the one way we can exploit them is that, as you said earlier on, their fullbacks will go high, and that gives an opportunity for Aubameyang and Willian to get in behind and cause mayhem. Now they've got the ability to do that. So but it is that back three that has got to be solid and defending really well. I think Tierney's done exceptionally well in the back three, if I'll be honest. But I think that he'll go with Gabriel just for the power. But listen, if he played that team, I wouldn't be too disappointed. I'll be honest, man. I wouldn't. Sorry, Mike. I wouldn't be too disappointed with that.
No, this is why I feel like this formation would probably work. I get what you're saying about El Nene and Ceballos. You're probably right on that one, but I just feel Ceballos will probably play because he gives us that little bit more option with passing over El Nene. Yeah. With the Maitland-Niles, I know this Saka. He really needs to, he should be pushing for a start. I think he deserves to start, but I don't think the Liverpool game is a game for him in that wing-back position. I think Maitland-Niles can do a job on Mo Salah, for me anyway. Manny, do you see anything different?
I'm going to agree with the notion that Tierney will be on the bench. I like Tierney a lot, don't get me wrong, but keeping him fit, is more important at this stage. So I think it will be Gabriel in there. It wouldn't surprise me if at some intervals you see Gabriel and David Luiz switching, simply because, in the air, Firmino's pretty decent. He's not going to win anything against Gabriel in the air. So don't be surprised if you see something like that. Maitland-Niles, I prefer to see Maitland-Niles on the right-hand side. I'm not a fan of Bellerin. I'm not a fan of what he gives us over there defensively. You saw against West Ham, when an opposition player decides to sit on you, that's because they've identified you as a weakness. Antonio stuck to Holding and Bellerin pretty much all game. He was trying to have that physical battle with Gabriel, and both of them, neutralized each other. It was great to see Gabriel go in there and take on Antonio, who's one of the stronger players in the Premier League. But he sat on Bellerin and Holding for a reason, because he identified a weakness there. Pace-wise, defensively, he attacked them. I would be worried to see those two on that side against Mane. I really would. Yeah, I would risk it. I would risk it and play Saka on the left-hand side. His performance against Leicester, it was his football brain is working at the minute. It wasn't just, go to the byline and get the crossing. Whenever there was space in the middle to run into, he would take it. And, he pops that ball off. And you saw it against West Ham. I would be more tempted to have Saka there because I believe Saka can handle what Mo Salah has. And I'd have Maitland-Niles on the right-hand side to deal with the physical Mane, the pacey Mane, because against Holding and Bellerin, he will have a field day. That's personally what I would want to see. So Bios will start, in this game. Willian will start to make it midfield free, when we do have the opportunity to have the ball. So, yeah, that's what I would do. But this side here, I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. The only reason why I put Tierney in there myself, personally, when I first did this, it was a case of I didn't really hear much from Tierney until I've just read that he's likely to start or is likely to be available for Liverpool game. So I did originally where I have got Tierney on here, I did have Gabriel. So I would have thought, like you said, Manny, similar to what you said, Gabriel and Luiz switching between the middle and the left-hand side. And you're right, again, this is our weakest side on defence. We saw it against West Ham. We saw it towards last season as well with the pace and the defending. It is definitely our weakest side. And I know Cedric Suarez, he is out. He's not available. He is injured. And I sort of agree with you with Maitland-Niles probably pushing towards the right and Saka on the left-hand side. But, for me, personally, I would have thought maybe, Salah and Alexander-Arnold You know, he's got Xhaka to probably push towards that left-hand side as well to help him out in defensive situations. But we saw what Xhaka could do against West Ham with his defensive against Bowen. So, you know, it is this one was a tough one for me to do, you know, because I did want Saka. I think Saka definitely deserves to play, but you know, I just can't see it. This is the formation that I can personally see. But again, everyone's got their own opinions, and we appreciate that and we like to differentiate. Everyone's different, and we enjoy that. And again, it's nice to have these difference of opinions and everything else. So I can't see much different to that. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, and I'm trying to get rid of this now. I'm not used to doing these extra screens and stuff. It's beyond me sometimes. I've been practicing for about half an hour before you lot came on, so it was a bit hard for me. So yeah, it's it's going to be a tough game. I think. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as what I have seen people mention on Facebook and Twitter. I think we're going to struggle against this one. Oh yeah, it's a lot of people are out there saying that we're going to wipe the floor with them. So,
oh no, I believe that Liverpool will be they will be the ones that will be under pressure in this game. We don't really have anything to prove because people are expecting us to go there and beat them. You know, so Arteta would want the players to be relaxed. You know, these are the champions and people are expecting them to win. So be relaxed and go ahead and implement the game plan, which is sit in, which we know we've seen that we can do that against them. You know, sit in, let them, do the rope it up as we did against City as well in the semi-final. Do the rope it up. And when you have an opportunity, take it. You know, I understand what you mean with having Tierney start because his passing is deceptively good.
Yeah.
You saw it in the final. You know, that ball over the top. You saw it in the semi-final, for Aubameyang twice. His passing is what would get Aubameyang in there. Alexander-Arnold, trust me, he would have to be switched on defensively if he's going to be facing Aubameyang. And having Tierney in there to play those balls over the top may be our trump card along with Maitland-Niles coming into the midfield as well. Yeah. So, I think we've got weapons there to hurt Liverpool. We've got players there to hurt Liverpool. It's up to them, to prove to everybody that they're the champions. So we can be relaxed and whatever the result happens, we win anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. And in all fairness, to lose against Liverpool, it's the way it is. They're potential champions this year, so it's not. If we lose, we lose. We move on to the next game. So it's one of them things, and I'd rather lose to the champions or the potential champions than I would do to, for instance, although we're a league team like Fulham, for instance. I could take losing to the champions over a relegation side, as what's happened before. We've beat certain teams and then we go to the relegation sides and we lose against them, which it's hard to take. But yeah, I get that. And I would honestly, out of that formation, I would prefer Tierney for this game on where I put Maitland-Niles and I have Gabriel and Luiz. I think that would probably be a good option to have Tierney on that left wing back, helping similar to what Manny was saying, pushing forward with Aubameyang. I think that would work really well for this game. What do you think, Lee?
Yeah, listen, it don't really matter what team they pick on this, because I think you've got to look at it. You're playing against Liverpool, so it is really a team selected to get a result. And how I look at it is to frustrate Liverpool as much as we can, and force them into things that they don't want to do, like hopefully like keeping it very, very tight, and then they think to themselves, right, well, we'll go a little bit gun-ho and leave themselves open at the back. That's what we've got to try and force them to do. We've done it fantastically well against Manchester City, and we've done it well against Chelsea as well. So that's the way that we're looking to do. The way we set up in those semi-final and final was to frustrate, get them in little areas they didn't want to go into, and then pick them off. And we've done it really, really well. The system that with the 3 at the back and the 5 in midfield, or if you want to go 3-4-3 or whatever you want to go, whatever way you want to say it, it is there to frustrate. It is there to as a defensive setup for us to hit on the break. Watching Leicester do it today, they've done it fantastically well, and what they done was they sucked Manchester City into the areas that they didn't want to go and hit them on the break. I wonder where Brendan Rodgers got that idea from, because it's exactly what we've done as them in the cup final, but they took their chances. I think they was winning 2-1 with two shots on two shots in the whole game. So
yeah, there was, and then the penalty started.
Then the penalty started. So, but what they've done was they got them into the position that they wanted them to be in. Now, I agree with Manny what he's saying there. You know, all the pressure for this game's on Liverpool, and I think it's just gone up a little bit because of Manchester City's result today as well. So they've got that. They'll be looking at it and thinking, "Oh, we've got a chance to get ahead of them early doors," which is something that probably today you wouldn't have thought was going to happen. I think if you was a betting man, you'd have all thought that Leicester would give them a good game, like tomorrow. But Manchester City would have come out on top. I think that's what everybody's expecting tomorrow. Arsenal to give it a good go, but Liverpool to come out on top. So there's a little bit of pressure on them, and I think that there's a chance for us to manipulate that and try and get the result. And but it does realistically depend on who plays, and every single one of the players that plays tomorrow has got to play really well. And I don't care what anybody says. Those substitutes, if you're not in the side, the Ceballos, the Saka, Tierney's, whoever it is, Maitland-Niles, all could make a big difference when they come on. And even Eddie or somebody like that, because we're surmising it's going to be those three up front. But Pepe might have a little role to play. Do you imagine, with 15, 20 minutes to go, you've got their two fullbacks, Robinson and Trent Arnold, running on, getting a little bit jaded, and you bring on someone like Pepe, So we've got the options. If we can defend properly, we've got options to beat them. And we've got to try and nullify their midfield. Their midfield's not going to run past us like De Bruyne does. So I feel that we can if we keep our shape, keep it positive, I think that we've got a great chance to do some stuff tomorrow. I really do. But Liverpool have that three up front that can at any stage rip you apart, and that is the problem, And I have to agree with what you're saying. When you look at that right hand side, boys, it does look a little bit weak. I'm not a lover of Hull.
We're missing some. We've got some really heavy injuries in our defence, haven't we? With a couple of players, in the likes of Mari, and I don't know if you never know. Saliba might start tomorrow. We don't know. I doubt it.
Big arse. I'd like to see him start Thursday, Mike. I really would. Yeah. I would like to see him start Thursday. Give him some game time to see what he can do. But
yeah, definitely. But we've still got some players to come back in defence. So
the right-hand side is a weakness all round. It's a weakness with the central defenders because I don't think we've got a great, like if you've got Holding and Saliba, is their right side. One's inexperienced and the other one's not quite good enough. So it's going to be tough. I don't think we can address that area, if I'll be honest. I think that we need to, but we've had to address other areas. But hopefully, listen, with Holding, I'm going to say this now, you just don't know what you're going to get with him. If he plays really, really well, which he can do, and he's going to have to, then he's as good as anybody. But he's just, hit and miss, isn't he?
Yeah, there's sometimes in Holding's cases, it takes a week to turn around, doesn't it, to make a turn. So, it's one of them things. It's similar to what Mertesacker used to be. Milk turns quicker than Mertesacker used to. So, but I've got a little comment here from Dave Atkinson. Thanks for joining us, Dave. And his comment is: if you want to get Saka in the team, then take Willian out of the right wing. Manny, what would you say to that one?
Nah, you don't do that. You don't do that because of, Willian's ability, to come into midfield and to naturally go into that number 10 position and to just be in that hole. Saka is still learning that, and to take that experience out of there, in terms of delivery, in terms of trickery, in terms of flair, and in terms of, finding that pass, Saka's learning. You don't take that experience out of the team, and then put him at the right wing. I don't believe that. But no, not for me.
No, I'd agree with you there. I think it's a lot to take on for a 18, 19-year-old to take that sort of responsibility on as well. I think that's quite thingy. And Jerome has joined us. Unfortunately, he has actually joined us in the chat. He, like he said here, he's thinking it's going to be one in the middle of the park. Yeah, I can sort of see that.
Isn't it always the majority of the time, though?
Yeah.
Whoever wins, and we're going to be outnumbered in there, because Liverpool are going to play with the three. Yeah. It really will come down to who wants it. Ceballos and Xhaka My worry is, those two athletically, they aren't, going to be able to deal with the Liverpool midfield, whoever they play in there, be it Keita, be it, Fabinho, be it Wijnaldum. Those guys are going to press them. They're going to harry them, and it's how they deal with it. I'm less worried about Ceballos, but Xhaka, when you pressure Xhaka, he breaks down, and that's my biggest worry. So it will be one in there. We need to be quick, with our decision-making in there. When you get the ball, know your pass, get rid of it, suck them in like we did against Leicester, like we've done, since Arteta come in, suck them in and then hit them right where you want to hit them. And that's, getting us running at their defense. We can get at Van Dijk, who's had a shaky start to the season. We could get at this defense. Let them play a high line. Let them be confident that way. We could get them on the counter-attack. Trust me on that, if we're quick with it.
Yeah, I agree. And to say about Van Dijk as well, he's made some terrible mistakes so far. For a guy of his stature, it always proves that anybody can make these kind of mistakes. So if we can get him to make another mistake like he did in the league last season, brilliant. I'll take that all day long. And Alisson as well, for a keeper who's meant to be of his stature, he makes mistakes. So all these haters of Leno, I'm going to mention it again. All goalkeepers make mistakes. Alisson makes mistakes. Leno maybe makes mistakes as well. Leave the guy alone. It happens. So we'll come to the end of that now. I think we have said enough on the Liverpool game. I can't see us getting much more into it. But I did want to mention tonight about VAR and the referees in the league. I don't know if you've watched all the games so far, Manny. I was speaking to Lee about this just before we came on, and this handball rule.
Oh God, I don't know what this is, dude. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. It's funny, we laugh at Tottenham because it's Tottenham, but if that decision, that Eric Dyer got against him, happens to us at some point in the season, we would be going absolutely crazy. The rule doesn't make any sense.
Well, I was saying to Lee before we came on, we had this sort of situation last week when we played West Ham. Gabriel, fortunately for us, it didn't rule as a penalty. But if you look to a different game that happened at the weekend, if you look at Manchester United, it was a very, very similar kind of situation, and unfortunately for them, fortunately for them, it ruled against them. So it is a case of now it's like there's no what do you call it?
There's no clarity.
There's
no common sense, because listen, when I watched it today, it's not handball. There's no way that he's deliberately done that or whatever, and I don't think you can get out of it. But the rules state that is a penalty. That is the rule. The rule is that is a penalty. Now the rule is ridiculous, because you're going to get, the thing is, I think it's good that it's happened to Spurs in one way, because I'm being serious here, because it happened to Crystal Palace yesterday and hardly anything said. It's a scandalous decision that happened at Crystal Palace. It was scandalous, but because it's Tottenham and Mourinho, it's going to be hyped up a little bit more to show you how ridiculous this is. It happened to Man United last week as well. I can't stand Man United as much as Spurs, but it's not a penalty. How can you give a penalty for that? And then to make it even worse, he saves the penalty. You think, okay, his justice is done, and then they go and make him retake it again because he moved slightly. It's
he wasn't on the line, was he? Is that David De Gea? He didn't have a foot on the line, so
it's the rules. It's not VAR. It's the rules. The rules are saying you can't come off a millimetre off your line. And the fact of the matter is, the rule is at this moment in time ridiculous, because you are going to get players at some stage just hitting the ball willy-nilly a player to try and get a penalty. And the fact of the matter is, the rule, when I played football, the rule was quite simple. You know what I mean? If it was handball, if it was deliberate handball, it was a penalty. And that was it. And I don't see why they've ever changed, why they've looked to change this rule.
It's called common sense, Lee, to be fair, mate.
Yeah, it is all common sense.
It's a case of, it's handball, just give it regardless. They're not even, there's no clarity, we've just been saying, and there's no...
What was the other game where, I think it was a Chelsea game where it hits the arm of a player, but because it's the second phase of play, they allow it to go on. Another stupid rule. If you see his hand, it's a and it gains an advantage. Again, it should be pulled up. If it's gained no advantage, then fair enough. But you're telling me that handball yesterday didn't gain an advantage? Of course, it gained an advantage. You scored a goal. So it's just a ridiculous rule. And the fact of the matter is, the referees today,
awful.
Yeah, but his hands aside, you have to say to the referee today, and I think the greatest thing about it is being no fans here makes a lot less pressure on him because he's being told, look, go and have a look at the monitor because it's handball. So you're actually being told, go and just basically say what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, in my eyes, it's never a penalty. I see it and I said, no, you can't give a penalty for that. Don't get me wrong, lad. As soon as the penalty was scored, I was cheering. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, for footballing reasons, listen, we had VAR messing up the offsides last season. Now we've got it messing up the handball. Stop messing about with the game of football for the technology side of things. I'm sorry, you know what I mean? It's a poor decision, and it's a poor decision for football. As it was yesterday for Crystal Palace, as it was for Manchester United last week. Now, Arsenal fans can laugh about it, and we can all laugh about it as Spurs, but let me tell you, West Ham, Chelsea, Tottenham, Man United, Crystal Palace, Tottenham, have all had in 3 weeks, have all had a handball. Law of averages is going to go, it's coming our way.
People forget we've got David Luiz in the team as well, so it's a case of that. Is it a ticking time bomb for us? It's going to happen.
Of course, it's going to happen. We're all going to be furious when it does. But I can tell you, you're all going to have to sit here and go, well, suck it up because that's how it is. And
it is going to happen to us. But here's the thing with VAR, right? It is a system, that's been brought in to help referees, and they are still managing to mess this up, right? They're still managing to blur the lines even more. Now, when you are given, a second look, what was it? It was United against Brighton, and I believe it was Connolly versus Pogba, right? Now, when you've got VAR, for me it was a penalty, right? Yes, Connolly grabbed him, but that's a bit of tussling, but you look closer at it, Pogba touches Connolly enough to make him fall into the box. It's a penalty.
His left leg connects with the Connolly.
No difference of Vardy today.
No difference.
No different.
So for me, again, it's the consistency of it. So now we're talking about, what's his name? Lindelof got a shocking penalty against Palace, right? And it could have happened to Gabriel when he goes to head the ball, but it hits his hand. The lines are so blurred that had it gone, had VAR picked that up, that would have been a penalty. But there's no consistency with this system.
No.
Some referees choose not to go to the monitor and have a look at it. And even when they go to have a look at it, they still get the decision wrong. So we've got to start looking at referees and looking at how poor they are, that you have a system that allows you to go and see an incident again, and somehow you still manage to mess this up. I couldn't believe that United got a penalty after you had blown the whistle. Because if you go and you look at it and you say, it's a handball, the referee at the end of the day has the decision whether to give it or to go, nope, I've blown the whistle for the end of the game. That's it. It's the end of the game. He chose to give them a penalty. Now, had Fernandes missed that penalty and it come out to be a rebound, he would have blown the whistle for the game to be over. So how does that make any sense? None of this.
I haven't got a clue on that. I agree with you. I was watching the highlights earlier about it all because I missed a few games this weekend so far, and I've watched a load of the highlights and I've just caught up with them all. And I tell you what, it was absolutely shocking. I understand that it's because it happened within the game before the whistle had blown. This is why they've re-give the penalty. Again, it just doesn't make sense. If the referee's blown his whistle, surely at that point, that's it. It doesn't matter. The official has blown the whistle. It's done.
It's done. So what else? Why are we having another conversation? So you've looked at it. So referee, now make a decision. Do you want to blow the whistle or do you want to give the penalty? You've chosen to give the penalty, but you've blown the whistle. So you as a ref, that's it. The game is done. The game is over. VAR has been brought in to help referees, and somehow they have managed to mess this up and make it more complicated. I was all for it, right, as an idea. But in practice, I still remember the Pukki goal against Tottenham, at Norwich. And he was penalized because his body was moving towards the ball. But isn't that what your body as a striker, as a footballer, naturally your body is going to go towards the ball? So he's in line, but because he's making a move to go to the ball, he was penalized for it.
Yeah, I remember this one.
The system is all over the place. They're still managing to blur the lines. It hasn't been defined. We don't know what is going on. And at some point, it's going to happen to us, and we are going to be screaming bloody murder.
This is it. It's not become football anymore. It's come the VAR show. And this is a massive issue. And I was listening to a program on earlier on when I was watching stuff like and one of the pundits was saying, should the referee, when he's watching the monitor, when he goes back to the monitor, should the referee watch it in slow motion, or should he watch it as you would when you're watching it on a television, so in normal time?
Yeah,
and
then he can make his decision properly there.
It looks worse. I 100% agree.
Yeah,
100% agree. It looks worse in slow motion.
Well, this is it, isn't it? It's when you were talking about Crystal Palace. Is it Shane Ward? Not Shane Ward, is it? It's Ward who he got his he got the ball kicked at his hand, and they showed it in slow motion. The first one, which was ruled out as a penalty, as he's moved his hand behind the ball, move his hand behind his back. So, and when he shown it on the slow motion, it looked 10 times worse. So I get that. Yeah, I personally think myself, it should be shown in normal time. Then the referee can make a proper decision rather than showing it in slow motion.
The one, I disagree a little bit with Manny on the one at Man United. That is handball. He has to, the game's still going in the 90th minute. He has had a shot which is goal bound. He has put his hand up. So I think that it is a penalty. And even though the final whistle was gone, if say there was 5 minutes to go, the VAR would carry on like it has done and say, oh no, we're stopping and we're going back. So it just unfortunately it was right at the end of the game. But I think the right decision was made. It was a penalty. That's my opinion on it. What was he doing, putting his hand up like that? Out of all the penalties, that was a penalty. That was the one. All the others, I don't think that they were. And, like the Crystal Palace one yesterday, I was watching I'll be honest, I was watching the game yesterday, and when that happened, I turned it off. I said, go and do something else, because that's it spoilt it for me. I'm a neutral watching a game of football, not really fussed who wins, just want to see a game of football. When I see things like that, it's not my team. That's it for me, turn it off, and you're starting to lose interest in games because you just think to yourself, is it the footballers deciding these games? And I don't think that it is now. I think, decisions like referees are making or the VAR are deciding who wins games. I will say this about the Spurs game today. They can moan about that as much as they like, and quite rightly so. But they should have been 4-0 up. They missed chance after chance after chance. So, don't let... always say that. Don't let referees make decisions that influence you. If you take your chances, you're 3 or 4-0 up, that don't matter. So you still got it in your own hands, but there are times when and I think for the Crystal Palace game, for instance, it's nip and tuck. It's a tough game. No one's running away with it, and a diabolical decision like that just totally ruins the game. And the demeanour of the players at half time, they all know. I think even the referee today knew that it was the wrong decision. I think he knew, but he's bound by the law, as they say, and that's where it's harsh.
Bound by VAR.
Bound by VAR.
It's, the spectacle that is football. What made football great is, the emotion of it, the injustice of it, as much as, it pains me, and it's a bit hypocritical, because in certain situations that we've experienced in the past, you would want VAR to be a fixture, with some of the injustices that we've had to deal with. But the injustice is part of the passion of the game, right? It's what drives us, right? So, when you score a last-minute goal and it's ruled out by VAR, you're celebrating with everybody, and the VAR's like, no, stop, we're going to look at it. And, a fingernail was offside and they ruled the goal out. So football is becoming robotic. That's what it is.
we've had some real tough decisions in the past.
Oh, yeah.
Against us, you know, like this. We're talking Arsenal and Liverpool, FA Cup final 2001. You know, if VAR was on that game there, that we'd have been 1-0 up after 10, 15 minutes. They'd have been down to 10 men, and the game as a spectacle would have gone, because we'd have gone on to win it quite comfortably. From our point of view, it would have been great, because we would have been another FA Cup winners and whatever. But for the footballing watchers and everything like that, it would have been a non-event. So we've been on the end of a load more. But I'll tell you what, now, if I've got a choice, I'd rather go back to that than this. And we've had like this go. We want to talk about it seriously. You know, VAR helped us out at Man United last season with a Aubameyang goal. He should never even been at VAR. He was so onside that it didn't matter. But
I was there.
We'd have lost that game if it weren't for VAR. Yeah. But you know, the reason that maybe like the linesman will turn around and say, "Well, I've got VAR to back me up now, so that's why I let it go." I don't know, you know what I mean? But, you know, Thierry Henry probably scored 10 goals a season that were onside and 10 that were offside. You know, I just think it evens itself up. And as you're right, you know, you're in the pub with your mates and, you know, you're saying, that referee's this and that referee's that. What we're doing now is we're doing exactly the same thing, but we're talking about VAR. And what's more importantly, the game's spoilt because of that. The game wasn't spoilt by those wrong and right decisions back then. You know what I mean? But the game's being spoilt now by them. And we're still going into the pubs and we're still on here now talking how crap it is. You know, so nothing's changed, only the game.
I think before as well, before VAR was introduced, like you were saying, we used to have a go at the referee. But by the next game, you forgot about what happened.
Oh, sure, you go and move on, didn't you?
But now we seem to be holding a grudge against VAR a lot over the time. You know, that grudge is still there. And it's going to carry on and carry on and carry on, because it's not just, you're not just seeing it in the games at Arsenal, you're seeing it in the games of other things. Like if you're a neutral and like to watch football and other teams play, then you see that happening there, then you think to yourself, is that going to happen at Arsenal? So them grudges hold. And it's worry, you know, I mean, there's fans out there are going to be like, oh God, is this going to happen to us? This is going to happen to us. And there's that in the back of people's minds. So
see, Scunny, I would rather hold a grudge against a Mike Dean, you know, somebody who is actually human, than holding a grudge against the system.
Well, Mike Dean goes into the VAR wankers van, mate. So I'm sure he's probably one of them.
So I don't know, just having something to complain about, you know, at the pubs, like you were saying, or at home on the phone to your mates after the fact, right? And you guys as match-going fans, when it happens at the time, you have somebody, you know, to go at. You know, you have somebody to, you know, to vent to. You can't vent to VAR.
No.
You know, you can't vent to the system. So all of a sudden now, we don't really have anything else that's keeping us, you know, really. I can't argue with a United fan about, you know, oh, your player is a cheat. I'd rather argue with them about VAR now, because it's the only thing that is constant. That passion and that emotion that is football is slowly but surely being taken away from us, and football is becoming robotic with the VAR, with all the things.
Gone are the days, mate. Gone are the days watching Didier Drogba dive in the penalty box.
But Manny makes a tremendous point there about that, and this is genuinely, like, you know, last season I didn't enjoy going to games. I didn't enjoy my football last year. I didn't enjoy it because you can't celebrate. You're halfway through celebrating. You go, oh, wait a minute. You know, the emotion of what going to me as a football fan has been. What wasn't there last year? You know, you'd be celebrating. Oh, it's gone to VAR and there's a screen comes up. You know, for instance, the game against Man United, I didn't celebrate. You know what I mean? Because it took so long. By the time, you know, by the time they said it was a goal, the emotion of scoring had gone from me, if you know what I mean. Like, you know, that instant thing of going mad, you know, so you have to sort of build yourself up to go mad again, which is not as the natural thing of when you see a goal going and you go mad. And the thing is, it does happen when you go mad and you quickly see the flag up and you know, you're straight down, but you see that flag ain't gone up and you know then you can celebrate and go mad. And unfortunately now the flag don't go up, or it does go up. Hold on a minute, you're all standing around waiting. My enjoyment of the game definitely diminished a little bit from last season, and now you've got no fans coming in. You're watching more games on TV, and you're seeing more incidents like this all the time. You know, it starts to think, do you know what? Is it worth really paying all that money to go and watch what I'm seeing and mistakes being made like they are? You know, and I think it's a bad thing for football. All of it, what's going on, the whole package of it all. VAR coming in and now with all COVID and all that, it's a bad package for the football. And then, you know, to make decisions like they are with handballs and all that, like, you know, I honestly think fans are going to say, do you know what? I ain't bothered about going no more. I really do.
There is going to come a point. I agree. I totally agree with you. Having been to a lot of away games myself, and when you said about the Man United one, I was there, and yeah, it was. You're jumping around, you're screaming, you're cheering, and then all of a sudden you're not, and then you're waiting, you're looking up at a bloody screen that's purple, and you just like decision to be made, and then you're waiting, and it goes goal, and you're like, hey, nice one.
Yeah, that's that instant reaction is not there. Can you imagine if VAR had been a thing when Arshavin scored against Barcelona? Because let me tell you this, because my household went absolutely insane when Arshavin scored that goal, right? Because it's just instant. Now imagine that with the VAR, and you can't do that because you're looking towards that monitor, you know, to see whether the goal is going to be, you know, accepted or not. And that instant, you know, gratification that you get from scoring that goal is just taken away from you. So that second set of celebrations is not going to be the same as that first one. You're not going to grab that stranger, you know, who's in front of you or around you anymore. You're just going to celebrate yourself. And just that, I don't know. It like Lee said, last season watching football, it was painful.
Yeah, it was.
It did feel like something was just taken away. It's bad enough that you can't take off your shirt to celebrate. You know, you can't celebrate with the fans, so you can't do none of that. And now you can't fully celebrate with fellow fans because you got to look at a ball that's going to tell you whether it's a goal or not, or whether there was a foul in the lead up to the goal, or, you know, something stupid. I don't know. It's
that new offside rule I worry about, especially if when fans do actually go back into the stadiums and stuff, if they ever do. But it's that new offside rule, or the new linesman rule for offside, is where they have to wait to put the flag up, you know, until a chance has been made.
Yeah, well,
and I think that's another worry for me, because you're going to see a goal go in, you're going to cheer, and then you see a flag up, you're like, oh, for God's sake, and then you're going to see it. Then you're going to see in a purple screen, and you're going to be like, for fuck's sake, I've had enough of this. I'm done, you know.
And also, Mike, you're going to see someone get hurt, because what's going to happen is they're going to let it play on when he should have been offside. He's going to the defender's going to make a last-ditch tackle. All unnecessary, because it's people making these rules that have not played the bloody game. There's someone up there that's on a computer and whatever. Oh, this sounds a good thing. No, it ain't, because what'll happen is the ball will go through. We better let it play on. The goalkeeper and player are going to come out like they're going to smash into each other. One of them's going to get injured, and then they're going to turn around and say, oh, we should have, if we'd have stopped that earlier on, these two players wouldn't have had career-threatening injuries. It will happen because it's the nature of football. But again, another silly rule by someone that's not played the game.
Not interested, are they? They just want to try and do something to make money by it sounds of it.
Yeah.
Well, something more boring than what it should, you know what I mean? It just makes football boring. It's wrong, really, to be fair. But I'm going to emulate something that I heard Steve Bruce say after the game, to be honest, and I think he's probably right in saying this. And I think Roy Hodgson actually said it as well, where the managers should really get hold of each other, all of them together, and go see the FA and say, look, this is absolutely stupid. You need to change it.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
I agree with him, and I hope they do that.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Right. I'm going to end it now. And I'm just going to get your predictions first for the Liverpool game. Lee, what are you going for?
I am, my head's saying 2-1 Liverpool, but my heart is saying 2-1 Arsenal.
So which one are you going for?
I'm going with my heart.
You're going for the heart. Wrong choice, mate. Always go with it. Manny?
The realist is always, I'm going to say 2-1 Liverpool. It's not going to be a walkover. We won't do ourselves any, disservice. I think we'll do well, but just come unstuck.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think it's going to be 2-1 Liverpool. I think Lee should have gone that as well, to be fair. Always head, mate. Always with a head.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. Jerome, hopefully we'll be back next preview show. It won't be for the Liverpool Cup game. That's down to my other fellow arse brother, Ryan, and his antics. I watched his latest one. That's out there now. It is kind of funny. They talk about a lot of things on there. I'm not going to repeat it because I think they were both, him and Max was on there as well. And they're both weirdos. So it's just not worth talking about. So yeah, there is. I believe there is our Arse Brothers monthly coming up, Manny. I'm not exactly sure when it is.
I don't know where it is. Max hasn't told me anything, man.
No, yeah,
he's loving it as always.
Yeah. So if you do like what you see on Arse Brothers, if you're on YouTube, if you like what you see, click the like button. If you like the shows, there are some good ones. We do some funny stuff. This one's a bit more mellow compared to the other ones, to be honest. Manny does his hot topics, which are very interesting. And I believe you've got one coming up, Manny, have you not?
No, man. I don't know what to talk about at the minute. I need to think about it. But when it does happen, I'll let you guys know.
Right.
No, watch this space.
Watch this space, exactly. So if you're looking forward to that, hit the subscribe button. It's always worth doing, and if you really like the show and you want some notifications, hit the bell. So yeah, it's well worth it, and we do have some good stuff to talk about. I think it's good. We might go off topic a lot of the time, like we did tonight. We meant to be talking about Liverpool, but we ended up talking about VAR. It's normally the case on Arse Brothers. Right, thanks very much, guys. Catch you later. Up the Arsenal. Let's have it.
Come on, you Gunners.
A worried face.